Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well. I'm feeling a little peaky today, I'm not gonna lie. Not feeling too good. So my energy is rather low. Thank you, endometriosis, for that. Yeah, I've woken up not in a great state today, so I'm probably gonna keep this short, or as short as possible. But yes, forgive my tired, kind of peaky looking face today. Um, oh, the joys of being a woman. Um, so yeah, it's been a week since you last saw me, and all I've been doing is working, but also falling absolutely obsessed in love with Adolescence on Netflix. I finally got around to watching it, and oh my god, it is so freaking good. I cannot get over it. I've watched it twice, all the way through now. And I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube examining it and such, and it's been really interesting to see people's reaction to this piece. But oh my god, I absolutely loved it. It was absolutely stunning, and all the awards should go to it. I think it's amazing. But yeah, I've been enjoying that. And yesterday I got the external cable to my house installed, so that when I have cable pulled through into my house in coming weeks, and because I've decided to switch providers for my TV and internet, so I'll have decent internet. Yeah, so in a couple of weeks they're going to install it in my house, and then I will be good to go. So yeah, I've had the first stage external wiring done outside my house. So yeah, exciting stuff. I'm very much looking forward to actually be able to watch TV with decent broadband and also do uploads from home rather than at my mum and dad's house. Yay! All that jazz. But yeah, I've just been, working as usual and such this week, and as I said, just falling in love with Adolescence. But also, I have been reading Murder at Holly House by Denzil Meyrick, and I am here to talk about it. And I'm going to be blunt straight off the mark. I had to DNF it. I mean, I thought that the last murder mystery book that I read, the Christmas Jigsaw Murders, sorry, the title was in my head, but the words were the wrong way round just then. I was just like, that's what was confusing me. I didn't get along with that, but I persevered through and I got to the end of the book, okay? But this one, oh my god, I couldn't. So let's talk about it. So this is the first book of Denzil that I've ever read, but I can see from the very front that there's quite a few books that have previously been published by him. So when I opened this up, I was like, okay, so I feel like I'm in a good position. That's great. That's good. And this one, should I say, just to clarify, is the first of a series of books. So here you can see, well, you can't see, but it says there, the DCI daily thrillers, and then we've got a load, then we've got Kinglock novellas, and then short story collection and standalone. So there already is a series of books about one detective chief inspector that he has written about, and now there's this new one, and this new one is a guy called Frank Graspy. And I went into this thinking, okay, this is a guy who's already done a series of books about one detective. This is the first book of a new detective series that he is writing. I think I'm going to be in good hands here. This isn't like this is a first book or something that I could have, problems with. And then I started reading it, and I was like, oh God, why has he done this? Now, this book is set in December 1952. And straight off the bat, you are told by the writer that this is a collection of diaries and such that Frank wrote himself, cobbled together. Some locations have been changed, names have been changed in order for anonymity and such. But other than that, it's written from Frank's diaries. I'm like, okay, right, let's see how this goes. But the problem is then you get bogged down with a load of stuff that just frustrated the hell out of me. It's written first person point of view, which is just a bit like, okay. And even though it says it's written from diaries, in a way it's really not, because Frank is just giving a commentary about every little tiny thing about his life that just felt like, oh, for the love of God, just get on with it. I'm sorry, that was how it was. The fact that the body at Holly House, I just realised I haven't actually described what this book is actually about. I am so sorry. So we're following Frank Graspy, as I said. He has turned up a place called Elderbury, and he has been basically sent there because of a situation that happened at his previous place of employment. Some sort of scandal, we don't know exactly what. But he basically gets told that he has to go there. And after he gets there, a body is found in a chimney at Holly House, which is believed to have been a burglar, or possible would-be killer, who has come down the chimney, basically gotten stuck and died. At least that's the belief of it. And Frank is made to investigate it, and obviously there's lots of people in the area, in the village, that have hiding secrets and trying to figure out exactly what is going on. Okay, so that's the overall synopsis. So we begin with Frank when he's in his old place of work, and he's having these conversations with colleagues and such, and sort of talking about what's happening with him. And then he's told, right, you have to go to this place. And he's a bit frustrated, and he's like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to have to do. He then goes off to get a car. He then goes off to meet his dad, who is, he's a vicar, and talk about how he's got to move up to York. He talks about the car, the annoying stuff to do with the car and the winding road and all that stuff. It takes nearly 70 pages for the body to actually be found, and this is only like a 350-page book. So we've gone all that time, and we haven't yet got to the point. I just felt like, why are we starting with all of this stuff in his initial play? Why don't we just start with him arriving at Elderbury, and then he could possibly pour over his diaries talking about his dad, or talking about the past event, and that gets revealed later on in the book. It just felt like, oh my God, do I have to listen about, or read, should I say, about types of cars and the way that the roads are, the way that the stick the thing, I can't think what the word is, sorry, I'm that tired. my energy is not great at the moment. As I said, I'm not feeling too good, so forgive me for getting my words wrong. But the sticking, of the various parts of the car, and the annoyance of how it revs and such, and I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with this mystery? It's just, it felt like ridiculous, and it put me off Frank as a character. Like, he only cares about these materialistic things and such in the world. And I know, obviously, like, because I DNF'd it, I wouldn't be able to find out exactly what gets revealed later on in the book and such, and who the killer is and everything. But here's the key thing: I did not give a fuck. I did not care. I just spent the whole time thinking, get on with it. Just shut up and stop moaning about your situation. Clearly, whatever it was, you kind of got yourself in that position. If you wanted to stay in your old job, you should have fought for it, but you didn't. So it just felt like I just wanted to just scream at him, for God's sake, stop whining and get on with it. Because oh my God, he drove me up the wall. The actual, I will admit, right, Denzil's writing that the way that he pictures the world and describes the world that this story is set in is great. I love the fact because it's set in York, and I went to York the other year, and oh no, maybe a couple of years ago now, and absolutely loved it. And I'm from up there. I recognised places that he referred to in this book and such, so I was like, oh, that's nice. I really liked that connection and such. It made it feel even more real to me. But at the same time, I felt completely disconnected from this character who was telling me this story in first person point of view. And his tone and his way just, oh my God, it drove me up the wall. And I didn't know if it was because I said, not feeling well and such, and just be aware that I've been feeling sluggish and horrible throughout the week, because my endometriosis, but I'm particularly feeling it today. I don't know if I just got to my breaking point yesterday and I just went, you know what? This isn't worth it. I just do not want to be here whatsoever. I don't know if maybe if I had read this in a different week when I'm not feeling so crappy, I would have felt differently. But at the same time, I know in my gut that if I were to read this when I was feeling better, I would feel the same frustrations towards Frank, because he's still written the same way. It's the same words on the page. It just kind of, I just felt constantly frustrated around Frank. And because this is written from diaries of his, he is the only voice in the room. And I couldn't get along with him. I knew I had to stop. It was just not great whatsoever. I mean, I will give Denzil props. As I said, he does write locations very well. There were some funny things that were in there of the pages that I read, just to clarify, because obviously I DNF'd it. I don't know what happened after the fact. Yeah, I think the choice of having it declared as a book written from diary entries written by Frank, reflecting on cases, it just felt, this is wrong. It felt awkward and clunky for me to have that choice of format. But that's for me, obviously. There are people out there, I'm sure, who absolutely love this book. And I actually looked on Goodreads this morning to see people's thoughts. And I've said it before, I say it again, Goodreads, you want to get 4-star minimum to know that this is good. It's a 3.5. There are people who are like 5-star, absolutely love this, or it's like a 1-star. It's, yeah. I mean, it just feels like this is a Marmite book, and I did not like the Marmite. And also, what kind of irked me, I gather it ends like right at Christmas, like literally like Christmas Day probably, or Boxing Day it might end, and I get kind of like the Christmas Jigsaw Murders with the exact same situation, because the fact that it's called Murder at Holly House, Death Comes with the Snow, you'd expect Christmas. And of course, it's in December, but it's like the beginning of December. So it's like, oh, so do we have a build up to Christmas? Well, it just, this came out, and particularly around Christmas, it refers to holly, it refers to snow and such, and it's December 1952, and it actually says either way he wasn't on anyone's Christmas wish list about the body in the chimney, and so it actually mentions Christmas in the blurb, and implies Christmas because it's Holly House and snow and set in December and all that lot. But Christmas doesn't get referred to because it's like the beginning of December. So it's just, it's like, either commit to Christmas or don't mention it. Just don't mention it. Just, you could say December, and it just so happened that the house where the body was found is called Holly House. But like, if you're going to refer to Christmas in the blurb and such and have Christmas related stuff, well, you know, related to the cover, have it be Christmas. I mean, it just, that kind of like threw me a bit. So yeah, it just feels like this is something that is being marketed as a Christmas book that is not a Christmas book. It feels awkward and clunky, and our protagonist is not the greatest person to follow with this story. I know that diaries, you have thoughts that just, you know, happen in your head and you write it down and such, but the intricate detail of him going off about things that he will not shut up about, and just oh my god, just drive me up the wall. And I have to read through this. It just felt like, you know what, I can't do this. I cannot do this. It makes it awkward. It makes it a slog to read. And if I have to go, like, as I said, like nearly like 70 pages before our victim is found to kick off the story, and this is only like 300 odd page book, that's weird and concerning to me. I couldn't go that. I couldn't finish it. So yeah, it was just so odd. And that's all I can think of to say about The Murder at Holly House by Denzil Meyrick. I thought I was in good hands, but the style that was chosen wasn't great. The lead protagonist wasn't that great a character to begin with, and have everything written from his point of view. Just, oh, that was just annoying. And yeah, I didn't actually care about the investigation or the various characters, but will admit there were some beautiful writing points and there were some funny things, but I couldn't. So those are my thoughts on Murder at Holly House by Denzil Meyrick, and it's time to ask my usual questions. Would I read this again? No, I'm not fussed. I'm really, really not fussed about reading this again. Or any of the other Frank Graspy books. Would I recommend this to anyone? Probably not, no. Again, if I'm being brutally honest. Now, I can't actually think of anyone in my life who I would recommend it to. So there we go. And would I read any more of Denzil Meyrick's books? Now, I always say that, especially with the first read of their books, that I would give them a second chance, and I would. But what I would do, I think in this case, I would want to read, like they showed in the list of books and such, that there was some novellas, there was a short story collection, and there was a standalone book. So I think if I were to choose one of his books, it would be one of those. But I'm okay stepping away from Denzil's writing for a while. So there we go. Murder at Holly House. Have you read this book? I love to know what you think. Leave me a comment in the comments box below. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, entirely to your side. And now back to the thoughts for my next read. I'm pretty sure this is correct, because I was like, out of the books that I've announced, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's The Murder Game next. And then sitting here, I'm now debating if it was Legally Blonde, but I'm going to go with Murder Game. So if you're expecting Legally Blonde next, it's actually going to be one after this, but I'm not sure. This is what I'm just in a very drained kind of state today. So yeah, but anyway, I'll be like my next read, which would be The Murder Game by Tom Hindle. I'm hoping. It's really annoying that the murder mystery books that I've read so far this year have been like not great at all. I've picked some interesting books so far this year, but yeah, let's see if Tom can break that cycle and be really great in with the murder game, but I'll let you know what I think as soon as I'm done. Oh, and just FYI, next Sunday is Mother's Day, and my mum and dad are coming to my house for lunch rather than me going to theirs. So if I finish Tom's book by next weekend, you might get it slightly early, because obviously I can't upload on the Sunday with mum and dad here, or you'll get it later. I don't know. We'll see how long this takes me to reading. You don't know, I might actually have a bit of a break if I'm not feeling that great and such, but well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, just FYI, next Sunday is Mother's Day, so, and Mum and Dad will be here. So yeah, I will see you when I see you then. All right, everyone. Bye.